This little video is kind of came from some thoughts that I've had, but a recent video I saw, I think with Benny Johnson and Mike Rowe of Micro Works. And in that video, they're talking about the migrants and illegal migrants in the U.S. and how there is a certain population in the U.S. that is basically saying we can't do without them because it'll wreck our economy. Who will pick our food? Who will clean our houses? Who will maintain our pools? You know, if we have these people who are willing to work for extremely low wages leave. This is the same argument that effectively was part of slavery in the U.S. Now, please note, slavery was not invented in the U.S. We were not, it existed long before the African slave trade to the Americas. It still exists in Africa. So this is not necessarily about slavery overall. However, prior to the Civil War, part of the argument from a certain part of the population was that we could not abolish slavery because to do so would wreck the economy, that it was such an economic necessity that we had to have it and could not do away with it. Hopefully, most of us now would say, so what? There is no economic argument that can overcome the ethical argument that slavery is wrong. The destruction of people and societies and ownership of people, slavery, is so morally and ethically reprehensible that there is no economic argument that holds water against it. So what that then brings us is the question, what other things, and I'm going to stick with agriculture, is there anything going on now that has been going on, regardless of how long it's been going on, how ubiquitous it is, how common it is, how conventional it is? Is there anything going on in agriculture that, if weighed morally and ethically against the economic arguments, likewise would not hold water, would not be able to stand? And I think there is. I think that the modern Western conventional method of agriculture, both row crop and protein, animal products, is so ethically wrong that it should not be allowed to continue. Now, I'm not saying row crop agriculture should cease to exist, but the multi-thousand acre monoculture, heavy tillage, heavy chemical use version of it that destroys the soil, creates erosion, creates desertification, puts all the things that eventually become food products, and I say food products, not food, laced with any number of chemicals that are also known to be carcinogenic, antibacterial, hormone-like or hormone disruptor, does not hold water. Likewise, in animal proteins, I'm not saying that cows are the problem. It's not the cow, it's the how. Whether it's cattle, whether it's sheep, whether it's goat, whether it's whatever animal it is, if it's a prey animal, it's the concentrated animal feeding lots and chicken houses and stuff like that that is the unethical part. Not the fact that we're raising animals for food, directly or indirectly. In all these cases, it's not the enterprise itself, it's how the enterprise is accomplished and the consolidation, the industrialization of it, that reduces the nutrients in the actual food, that separates the people from the food and from the environment, that reduces the nutrition. I just don't see it. I don't see how we can use an economic argument of we have to produce more bushels on more land, when it's destroying that land, when it's taking more and more land and putting it in fewer and fewer hands, be that individuals or corporations, when supposedly 40% of what's produced now is never consumed, and with the 60% that is consumed, we have an obesity crisis, so that we have a population who is morbidly obese and malnourished at the same time. So I would like to take the argument, the ethical argument against slavery, the ethical argument against modern slavery, which is, sub-minimum wage agricultural and other menial jobs for immigrants because they have no other options. Those ethical versus economic arguments, and put it to the way that we raise food. Lawns, the argument might be made, if everybody ripped out their lawns and started gardening, then it would put the lawn care industry out of business. So it's not like those individuals couldn't find another job in agriculture. I mean, they're already in a form of agriculture, but if they could do it, if they can make as good or better living as experts helping grow food without the poisons, without destroying the soil, how is that not a bonus? So, take those arguments, maybe consider buying and reading or listening to the Joel Salatin's book, The Marvelous Pigness of Pigs, and let's put some of our economic arguments against ethical concerns and see how they stack up.